Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're back with another reaction video, and yes, this is the start of our reaction series on World War One or in. Anyway, so today we're reacting to Epic History TV's World War One 1914. I almost say 41. So yes, we're going to learn about World War One, and this is my first time reacting to Epic History TV, and looking at his video having 3 million views. It's pretty interesting, okay? Because I hadn't seen much. I played like until like 46 seconds. So yeah, let's go. I'm gonna start my recording, guys. I just clicked it. Okay, so it's still 0 though. Okay, there we go. Yeah guys, if you want to see this video without my commentary, it's going to be first link in the description down below, and the last video is going to be in the third link, and the second link is going to be Epic History TV. I know that didn't come out very well with me, but hey, it's been a while since I recorded a video, so I'm very sorry if my English grammar sucks, because I'm still learning. Anyway, World War One 1914, and let's go. Europe goes to war.
1914.
Oh, snap.
The great powers of Europe are divided into two rival alliances. The Triple Entente. France, Britain, and Russia, united by fear and suspicion of Germany, Europe's new strongest power. And the Triple Alliance. Germany, which fears encirclement by its rivals.
And
Austro-Hungary, clinging on to a fragile empire, and Italy, seeking gains at French expense.
But in World War One, the Triple Alliance, the reason why Italy didn't like declare war on France, Britain, and Russia, the Entente, because the treaty was a defensive alliance, and the leaders of Italy actually declared its neutrality. And yeah, it's a defensive alliance, and the reason why, because Austro-Hungarian declared war on Serbia, and they were the one that started the offensive, and the alliance is a defensive alliance, actually. Yeah, I'm very sorry for my bad English. It's been a while since I recorded a video, so yeah.
The spark comes on the 28th of June in the city of Sarajevo. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, is assassinated by a 19-year-old Slav nationalist named Gavrilo Princip. Austro-Hungary accuses its Balkan rival Serbia of having aided the assassin and sends an ultimatum demanding.
To be honest with you, the assassination is, I don't know why, but the driver at that time just still went to the place where the victims are, in the hospital. There was a first attempt by the same 19-year-old, like earlier. He threw a bomb at the car, but thank goodness it didn't really hurt the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and actually escaped. But the problem is, I'm very sorry about my English. What was the guy again? They came back. They're going to a what you call that? I remember watching a video about this. Archduke Franz Ferdinand actually want to go to the hospital where like the people that were victims of the bomb went to and tried to I don't know, visit them. The car drove in a wrong way, and the 19-year-old was just sitting down there holding his gun, trying to end it all because he failed to assassinate Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And when Archduke Franz Ferdinand drove by, he used the opportunity to shoot him. So yeah, I'm very, very sorry for my bad English. Okay, I drank too much Coke earlier, and Coca-Cola, and yeah, that's the reason why my English isn't really the best. I still have a sore throat, so that's why.
Demanding humiliating concessions. Serbia rejects the ultimatum, and Austro-Hungary declares war.
Even before this, I'm very sorry. Even before this, there was what you call a July crisis of 1914, and I actually have one. I actually have this one. July crisis 1914, the international crisis that began with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo on 28 June 1914 and culminated in the British declaration of war on Germany on 4th August is referred as the July crisis. So yeah, it escalated to a world war actually. So yeah, I'm very very sorry for saying so yeah. I don't know why I always say that, and I'm trying to remove the so yet at the end of my sentences, so thank you for understanding. Hey.
Within hours, Austrian forces are shelling Belgrade. The Russian Tsar, Nicholas II, feels honor-bound to defend Serbia, a fellow Slav nation, and orders the Russian army to mobilize.
Russian mobilization.
German Emperor Wilhelm II has promised his support to Austro-Hungary. He and his generals see conflict with Russia as inevitable, and the sooner the better, as Russian strength grows year on year.
The pointy helmets.
Russian mobilization is used to justify German mobilization, followed by a declaration of war on Russia. Germany knows war with Russia means war with Russia's ally, France.
And Britain.
It has developed the Schlieffen Plan to meet this threat of a war on two fronts. First, its armies will advance rapidly through neutral Belgium to encircle and destroy French armies near Paris and win a quick victory. Then its forces can move east to deal with Russia, whose huge army will take much longer to mobilize.
The reason why, because Russia is a big country, and obviously it's gonna take a while to mobilize, and that's good. The Schlieffen Plan is just not really a good plan. It's a plan that is that is a failure almost. It's obviously a failure. They lost the war, and like I remember watching a documentary, and the generals in like World War II, the generals actually proposed a strategy that is like Schlieffen Plan, and it's the same. It's like the same strategy what Germany used in World War I, and Hitler didn't like it because it's not very unique. It's not really ambitious enough. Then there was this general. Now I don't know if he's a general. Just comment down below. I remember he couldn't even say anything because the generals were like stopping him because his plan was too ambitious. And then when he was alone with Hitler, he proposed a different strategy to Hitler, and that was Blitzkrieg. I don't know much about this, and yeah, it was actually fun documentary. You should check it out in Netflix. It was World War I colored in Netflix. So yeah.
And so Germany declares war on France. 6 million men are now marching to war across Europe.
My God.
Italy, however, remains neutral. The terms of the Triple Alliance don't bind it to join an offensive war.
Yeah, it's a defense.
The United States also declares its neutrality. President Wilson and the American public have no desire to get entangled in Europe's war. Britain is France's ally, but at first it's not clear if it will join the war against Germany. But when German troops invade Belgium, whose neutrality Britain has guaranteed, an ultimatum is sent from London to Berlin, demanding they withdraw. It's ignored, and Britain declares war.
Opening moves, okay.
A British expeditionary force lands in France, while the German invasion is held up for crucial days by Belgian resistance at the fortress city of Liège.
Yeah. Germany actually asked the president of Belgium, I forgot if it's a president, I don't know much about this. They actually asked them if we can just pass through your country. We're not going to attack anyone, we're gonna not abuse anyone, we just want to pass by. But Belgium declined. So yeah, the shipping plan was a quick strategy. That strategy means they just have to like walk past Belgium so that they can get near France and quickly attack like Paris. But they weren't expecting Belgium to decline. So yeah, it took them a while, and that ends up into like the trench warfare. I don't know much about this. Please comment down below.
German troops commit several massacres against Belgian civilians. The atrocities are inflated by Allied propaganda,
Yeah, they use
and
that
help
to
turn
propaganda.
public opinion in neutral countries against Germany. France, unaware of Germany's great encircling attack, launches Plan 17, an offensive into German territory. But in the Battle of the Frontiers, they're driven back with enormous losses on both sides. The British expeditionary force clashes with the German army at Mons, but the British are heavily outnumbered and soon join the French in retreat. The Allies make their stand at the River Marne, 40 miles outside Paris. Their desperate counterattack saves the city and drives the Germans back. Both sides suffer 250,000 casualties.
My God.
The race to the sea begins, as both sides try to outflank each other to the north. A series of clashes leads to the First Battle of Ypres, where the Allies desperately cling on and prevent a German breakthrough. There are more heavy losses on both sides.
My God.
The two armies then dig in along the entire 350-mile front, seeking shelter from deadly machine gun fire and artillery shells. Trench warfare has begun.
Yep. The most well-known thing in World War I. Yes, it's trench warfare. Because I learned about World War I when someone mentioned like trench warfare. So yeah. I'm very, very sorry. I should probably stop ending my every sentences with an oh yeah. Okay. The war at sea. Okay. The blockades.
British.
Oof. Going to mute that. Yep, the blockades has started. British started blockading Germans. Okay. There we go. They started blockading the Germans.
British warships win the first naval battle of the war at Heligoland Bight, sinking 3 German cruisers.
My God.
Britain has the most powerful navy in the world, 29 modern battleships to Germany's 19.
Whoa.
They now impose a naval blockade on Germany, preventing contraband goods, including food, from reaching it by sea. The aim is to bring Germany's economy to its knees and force it to surrender.
To be honest with you, this blockade really made like Germany encircled, because Germany couldn't just get food anywhere. Like, they need food getting delivered to their country. And yeah, it's a naval blockade. We all know that. We should probably search that up more. And yeah, and Germany in World War One will not win that war, because it's because of the blockades. And some mistakes too that happened in World War One. Okay, I don't know much about World War One. You're looking at the most confused person right now, so please comment down below. Thank you.
But a week later, the British cruiser HMS Pathfinder becomes the first victim in history of a lethal new weapon.
Torpedoes.
The submarine-launched torpedo. German submarines, or U-boats, have a surface range of 9,000 miles and can attack undetected from beneath the waves.
Wow.
They herald a deadly new challenge to Britain's command of the seas.
The Eastern Front against Russians.
On the Eastern Front, Russian armies invade East Prussia, but they blunder into disaster at the Battle of Tannenberg, where General von Hindenburg and his Chief of Staff, Erich Ludendorff, mastermind a brilliant German victory, taking 90,000 prisoners and destroying an entire Russian army.
The Strategy of Encirclement. The most well-known encirclement was in the Battle of Stalingrad. Yes, it was the Battle of Stalingrad. Someone actually mentioned that when I mentioned like the most famous the encirclement was more famous in World War One, but someone actually mentioned that in a comment. Very, very thank you. The most famous encirclement was in the Battle of Stalingrad in World War II. But hey, the strategy of the encirclement was pretty effective, actually. They encircle the enemy, and they encircle the enemy. It's pretty obvious, and I don't know much about the strategy of encirclement. I have to read articles, and I should probably read books about it. So comment down below anything like books that I can read online, or I just try to buy books. Just comment down below any books so that I can learn more about World War One. Thank you.
The Russians contribute to their own defeat by transmitting uncoded wireless messages.
Oh God.
A second massive German victory at Masurian Lakes forces the Russians into retreat. In just 6 weeks, the Russian army suffers nearly 1/3 of casualties. Meanwhile, Austro-Hungary's invasion of Serbia suffers a humiliating reverse at the Battle of Tser. Austro-Hungary's offensive against Russia also ends in disaster and retreat, with the loss of more than 300,000 men.
It's pretty obvious that Austro-Hungary is pretty unstable. It has a lot of ethnicities and has different cultures, and it's pretty obvious that Austro-Hungary is gonna like collapse in just few years because of its different ethnicities inside its borders, and there's some conflicts inside of that. So yeah.
The fortress town of Przemysl is cut off and besieged by the Russians.
Okay.
The Germans are forced to come to the rescue, launching a diversionary attack towards Warsaw. It leads to weeks of brutal winter fighting around the Polish city of Łódź, but there is no clear winner. Meanwhile, the Turkish Ottoman Empire has joined the Central Powers, declaring war on its old enemy, Russia. Turkish warships bombard the Russian ports of Odessa and Sevastopol, while in the Caucasus, Russian troops cross the Turkish frontier.
To be honest with you, by looking at Germany's allies, Germany actually carried them, because by looking at this too, they are the most unstable places at this war. Actually, yeah, they're very, very unstable. Ottoman Empire might actually collapse after this war. Yeah, because it was actually sliced up by the British and French and the Russians, and it's pretty obvious because there's like conflicts inside its borders. And Austria-Hungary, I already told you, it's pretty unstable, and yeah, Germany carried them. World at war.
Beyond Europe, the war rages on the world's oceans and in
the
far-flung
German
European colonies. German troops cross into British East Africa, modern Kenya, and occupy Taveta, while Allied forces seize the German colony of Togoland, modern Togo. But British forces invading German Cameroon are defeated at Garoua and Nsangakong.
Oh yeah, by the way, I actually saw a video by someone, and I kind of want to react to it. It's about World War I in Africa, and if you want me to react to that, comment down below.
While a 3,000-strong force attacking German Southwest Africa, modern Namibia, is captured at Sanfontaine. A month later, British landings at Tanga end in chaos and defeat at the hands of a much smaller German force led by Colonel von Lettow-Vorbeck. Cut off from Germany, Lettow-Vorbeck goes on to wage a highly successful guerrilla war against the Allies, tying down huge numbers of troops. In Asia, Japan honors its treaty with Britain and declares war on Germany. Japanese forces go on to seize the German naval base at Tsingtao.
Yeah, they used the opportunity to take some parts of China, and we all know that leads to like their invasion of Manchuria and the Pacific War. And we learned about that in the Pacific War series that we're doing right now, like Pacific War reaction series made by Kings and Generals. If you want to see that playlist, check it out. It's in the description down below too. I know, yeah, Japan actually took some islands in the Pacific that was being controlled by the Germans, and yeah, that's why after World War I, they got a lot of land for some reason.
The German colonies of Samoa and New Guinea surrender to troops from New Zealand and Australia. But in the Pacific, off the coast of Chile, German Admiral von Spee's powerful East Asia squadron sinks 2 British cruisers at the Battle of Coronel. Both ships are lost with all hands. 5 weeks later, he runs into a British naval task force at the Falkland Islands. 4 of the 5 German cruisers are sunk. Von Spee goes down with his flagship.
Yeah, the Falklands, England, the UK still has tensions with Argentina because of the Falklands. I actually saw someone made a video about the Falklands War, so yeah, I might react to that too.
Meanwhile, in the Middle East, British troops seize control of the Ottoman port of Basra, securing access to the vital Persian oil that fuels the British fleet. That winter, Austrian troops finally capture Belgrade. But the Serbs then counterattack and drive them back once more. The fighting in Serbia has already cost around 200,000 casualties on each side.
My God.
In the North Sea, German warships mount a hit-and-run raid against English coastal towns, shelling Hartlepool, Whitby and Scarborough, and killing more than 100 civilians. On the Western Front, the French launched their first major offensive against the German lines. But the First Battle of Champagne leads to small gains at a cost of 90,000 casualties. While in the Caucasus, an Ottoman offensive through the mountains in midwinter ends in disaster at Sarikamish. Turkish casualties total 60,000, many frozen to death. On the Western Front, that first Christmas is marked in some sectors by a short truce.
Yeah, the Christmas truce where Germans, French, and British played like football. I mean soccer. Football, yeah.
And games of football in no man's land.
Wait, you know what? Yeah, football and soccer. Two the same sports. Football, obviously being used by the Europeans as like football, and soccer is the word that the Americans use to yeah, I don't know. In the Philippines we call it football. We don't call it soccer because of football, like the what you call that, the brown long ball where you throw it into two rings. I don't know much about that sport. It doesn't exist in this country, so we call it football.
The killing zone between the trenches.
Anyway, that was a good video. That was part 1, 1914. And yeah, that was very, very interesting. Hold on. Thank you very much. I'm gonna end my video here. Okay. Thank you for watching it, everybody. Comment down below any books that you want to recommend for me to read, and comment down below some things that you know about World War I, because I'm very, very confused and don't know much, but I'm really hoping that you guys help me. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, everybody. Goodbye, and see you in maybe like the next 3 days. Okay, bye.